This is simply the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Using a protest to overthrow a non-Muslim government in a non-Muslim country.
For us Muslims living in the West,
Yes.
our jihad is to establish the deen of Allah through all means necessary.
There you go. Through all means necessary. What are all the means necessary? What do you understand by that? Or is that racist? Am I being racist for questioning this? Am I being Islamophobic? What am I being? What am I being just because I'm questioning that some imbecile from the other side of the world pretends to conquer me and to take my life away? Oh, we need the crusades. We need the crusades again. Where are the crusaders when you need them? Infidel nation, proud enemy of Islam. Yay! I'm gonna like that one. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep this picture also because I like it. I don't care. Now, a little bit. You know what? I was watching yesterday. I was watching some videos from David Wood. I love that guy. He is, and I don't love him the way Mohammed loved the Al-Zud, the guys from Al-Zud that mounted him. No, but I love the guy because he says the truth, the facts, and he has no competition when he faces any of these Islamic dumb fucks. He destroys them. It's lovely. So let's watch a little bit of his stuff that I have ready here for you guys. Here you are, this video. Let's listen to David for a bit of the Ramadan. Bon appetit during your Ramadan, cockroaches.
That time of year again. And as you can see, I'm fasting. Islam
Muslim
style.
way. There you go.
When most people think of fasting, they think of not eating. They think of abstaining from food. But in Islam, aka opposite world, fasting means gorging yourself with food multiple times per day. I guess you could say that Muhammad's followers are abstaining, in a weird sense, during Ramadan. They're abstaining from not gorging themselves with endless piles of delicious food. Islamic fasting is what we would ordinarily call feasting. For comparison, the closest thing non-Muslims have to Ramadan in the US is Thanksgiving dinner. That's our big meal of the year. But Ramadan goes on for a month, and they have 2 gigantic meals per day. Imagine having 2 Thanksgiving dinners per day, every day, for an entire month. Pretty gross, right? Pure gluttony. Now imagine having 2 Thanksgiving dinners per day, every day, for an entire month, and calling it fasting.
Explain.
Imagine gorging yourself with food until you almost pass out, multiple times per day, over and over again, day after day, while you announce to the world
that you're fasting.
See how devout I am? I'm fasting. Strange use of the word fasting, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, now what?
I invite you again, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you so much. They help the algorithm that I don't know why. I don't understand why lately the algorithm is just putting me back and back and back and back and over again. I guess I'm just saying things that the algorithm doesn't want, doesn't like, doesn't enjoy. But anyway, please subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank you.
Gordita.
Gordita.
Ramadan fasting is what we might call trans fasting. It's feasting that identifies as fasting. As such, our Muslim friends are to be accorded all the rights and privileges of the LGBTQ community, which means that the rest of us have to agree with them that shoveling giant plates of food into their mouths is, indeed, fasting. Milk. See how easy it is to call something by a completely different name from what it actually is? If you're new to the fast of Ramadan, hope I don't get canceled for that slip. If you're new to the fast of Ramadan, here's a brief introduction. Ramadan fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, the most essential practices of the religion. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. Muslims who aren't exempt for some reason are required to abstain from food, beverages, and sexual intercourse from dawn to sunset for the entire month. But once the sun goes down, it's party time.
Exactly.
How this works in practice is quite...
So, okay, I'm going to do the Ramadan for a whole month. So no sex, no food, no blah, blah, blah. Since you wake up until the sun goes down. But right after the sun goes down, you can destroy everything you did during the day. All the fasting, all the supposed fasting and all the supposed praying and all the supposed sacrifice for your God. You throw it all through the toilet. Well, that's well done.
Telling. In practice, many Muslims simply reverse their day-night sleeping schedule. They sleep during the day and stay up eating all night, with special emphasis on 2 huge meals, one after sunset and one before sunrise. So, in practice,
that's very easy.
Muslims who are fasting get together and gorge themselves with food at night, then gorge themselves with food early in the morning, then sleep all day. They wake up in the evening after a long day of sleeping and gorge themselves with food again. Then they snack all night and gorge themselves again early in the morning and again sleep all day.
And
they
over and over.
repeat this cycle for an entire month.
Trans fasting. That's a good one. That's a good one. Unbelievable.
One of the...
I have another video that I wanted to show you. So actually you realize it's down here, down below. You realize how much the Islam and the Muslims that lie. This one right here. I love this one. You realize how much they lie. They supposedly hate homosexuals and they stone homosexuals to death, blah, blah, blah. But their pedophile messiah used to love the big chorizo. He used to have the big black chorizo from the guys from Al Sut. And if anybody wants to change my mind, I invite you Muslims to check on your Quran what Abdullah, his writer, the pedophile's writer, Abdullah, said when he went with Muhammad to visit the men of Al-Sud. They put him in a line. Muhammad told him, do not cross this line or else you will die. They will kill you, the men of Al-Sud. I'm going to deal with them and I'm going to put this line here. Don't cross it. I'm saving your life. So he goes to see the men of Al-Sud and Abdullah see what the hell happened to him. So he gets very scared. But let's listen. Bear with me, guys. Come on.
There are a lot of weird stories in the Muslim sources. Stories that make you wonder, why, in the name of common sense, would anyone ever write down something like this? But I challenge you to find a weirder, creepier, more disturbing story than the tale of Muhammad's late-night desert rendezvous with the men of Al-Zut.
There you go.
Since Raymond Ibrahim has already done the research on Muhammad's romantic encounter, we'll let Raymond break down the details.
This odd hadith, which I'm about to narrate, appears in several hadith collections, including the highly esteemed Musnad of Ibn Hanbal, founder of one of Islam's 4 schools of laws, or madhahib, as well as in many other well-respected Islamic texts, all of which are being taught in Al-Azhar.
So, the scholars know about this, but like so many other issues the scholars hide from us, this story hasn't worked its way to the general population. Until now.
There's no secrets.
The hadith, which is narrated by Abdullah bin Mas'ud, a companion of the Prophet and one of Islam's most reliable and trustworthy transmitters of a hadith, goes as follows. Brace yourself. Abdullah begins by telling us that Muhammad called on him to accompany him on a trip into the desert. When they reached a certain place and night had fallen, Muhammad made a line in the sand, most likely a circle,
There you
and
go.
told
See?
Abdullah, quote, "Stay behind this line and do not cross it, for if you do, you will die."
Muhammad drew a line in the sand
Probably
and
circle.
warned his companion, Abdullah ibn Masud, not to cross it. Let's call this line the Diddy line, as in, Muhammad didn't just cross that line, did he? We could also call it the cuck line for reasons that will soon be clear.
There you go.
Muhammad then left his startled companion and walked into the desert night, about the distance of a hurled stone, says Abdullah. Before long, our narrator saw a group of men, he does not specify how many, who, quote, appeared to be al-Zut. He describes them as, quote, tall, lean, and naked.
So, Abdullah ibn Masud was behind the Diddy line, the cuck line, but Muhammad crossed the Diddy line. And he was soon
Willfully.
surrounded by a number of tall, lean, naked men, the men of al-Zut.
Other Islamic sources say these Zut were a black-skinned people, and we'll get into that later. After describing them, Abdullah goes on, and here's the problematic part, to say, quote, they went to and began to ride the Prophet of Allah.
They did what now?
They went to and began to ride the Prophet of Allah. Literally, that's what the Arabic says. These tall, black, naked men rode Muhammad. The Arabic word yarkaboon, which I will presently discuss, can also be
When you
translated as
born
mounted.
on Muhammad.
And they did this all night long, says Abdullah.
These tall, lean, black, naked men mounted Muhammad in the desert and rode him all night long, while his companion Abdullah ibn Masud watched from behind the
Terrified.
cuck line.
During which time they would also come and circle around and try to reach him, but they were prevented, apparently from the line of protection Muhammad had drawn in the sand for his companion.
Right.
Abdullah concludes his narration, quote,
Mighty
I was
nice.
extremely terrified by them, so I sat
I'm
down.
sure.
With the coming of dawn, they began to depart. Then the Prophet of Allah returned, slowly and in pain from that which they did while riding him.
These tall,
Slowly and
lean,
in
black,
pain. Yeah,
naked
of course.
men tried to get
Dates.
to Ibn Masud, but he was protected by the Diddy line. He was terrified, so he sat down. When dawn arrived, the tall, lean, black, naked men left, and Muhammad came stumbling back to Ibn Masud, slowly, because he was in pain from these tall, lean, black, naked men
pobrecito.
riding him all night long.
According to another narration found in several Islamic texts, including Akhbar Mecca by al-Fakahi, Muhammad complained to Abdullah that, quote, they wounded me all night long. At which point the Prophet proceeds to lay his head and fall asleep in Abdullah's lap.
Poor Muhammad was all tuckered out from these tall, lean, black, naked men riding him all night
They
long.
were about to rape
And
Abdullah
he fell
too.
asleep with his head resting on Ibn Masud's lap.
Que marico.
Yes, Muhammad liked resting his head on men's laps
Marico.
to fall asleep.
Marico.
Just ask Dihya al-Kalbi. But who were these guys who mounted him and rode him all night long? Turns out, when they're described as black, it doesn't mean African.
Who are these al-Zut, these naked men who rode Muhammad all night long? According to Islam's written records, they were a migrant people from India or modern-day Pakistan, described in the sources as very tall, very dark-skinned, very lean, strong and hardy, and often used for labor-intensive work.
Sounds like Muhammad was using them for some labor-intensive work. So, al-Zut referred to people from India or Pakistan. Do we know anything else about these guys?
In early Arabic ethnographies and literary works, al-Zut are also depicted as being very sexual and virile, with very large penises. In fact, according to one Arabic source, Al-Tashibbahat by Ibn Abi Awan, quote, the penis of al-Zut never weakens, meaning their large phalluses never go limp and are ever ready.
The men of al-Zut were known for being extremely horny at all times? And Muhammad wanted to meet with these men at night in the desert?
Vagabundo, goloso.
And they mounted him and rode him
greedy
all
bastard.
night long
All
while
night
Ibn
long.
Masud watched from behind the Diddy line? Raymond
Diddy
asked ChatGPT about the men of al-Zut.
I then asked ChatGPT to give me a physical description of al-Zut based on early Arabic sources, and it said, quote, In literary and anecdotal texts, they are grouped together with other southern or dark-skinned people, all of whom have the following traits: sexual potency, prominent genitalia, and associations with physical strength and virility.
Why did Muhammad want to meet these guys at night in the desert? And what do the sources
Because he was
mean when they
lonely.
say these guys were riding him all night long?
Now let's talk about the Arabic word translated as ride, as in al-zut, rode the Prophet. Not only does it have the same exact meaning in English, as in to ride a horse, for example, but it carries the same slang meaning, as in copulating with a woman. In fact, several Islamic sources use it literally to mean sex.
So, when it says they rode him all night long, the word rode can either mean they rode him like a horse, or it can mean they had sex
Rode
with him.
like a goat.
What do you think it means in this context?
It's also interesting to note that when al-Zut begins circling and trying to reach our terrified narrator, Abdullah, his first instinct was to sit down. Was he trying to hide and protect that one part of his body, which these naked men were apparently trying to access? That is his bottom, by sitting down.
Well, he saw what they were doing to poor Muhammad's junk in the trunk, so we can't blame him for sitting down and protecting his badonkadonk from the booty bandits of al-Zut. All right, now that we know the details, Raymond puts it all together.
Muhammad took his close companion, Abdullah, into the desert at night. He warned him to wait behind a line and went off at a distance, apparently for a pre-planned rendezvous. Before long, Abdullah saw several naked men from the people of al-Zut appear, described in the sources as tall, lean, virile, and with large penises.
Why was Muhammad meeting these guys at night in the desert
He wanted
after
banana.
crossing the Diddy line?
These men then
And
took
no
turns
banana.
riding or mounting the Prophet all night long. They also tried to reach him, but Abdullah immediately sat down, apparently to protect that one part of his body they were trying to access.
Ibn Masud apparently did a better job protecting his bubble pop than Muhammad did.
As the sun rose, these naked men began to depart, even as Muhammad returned in pain, limping towards Abdullah and saying how al-Zut had injured him. He then lays in his companion's lap and falls asleep.
Nothing suspicious here. So, this is
Nothing
what
to
I
see.
would consider the weirdest, creepiest, most disturbing story in the
In
Muslim
the Quran.
sources.
Yep.
And that's saying a lot. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Let me ask all our Muslim friends what this means. Why did Muhammad head out into the desert in the middle of the night to meet with a bunch of Indian or Pakistani men who were known for their strong sexual appetites? Why did he bring his companion,
He's
Abdullah
cooking
ibn
it
Masud,
slow.
and make him stand behind the Diddy line? Did Muhammad
He wanted
like
audience.
it when one of his companions watched?
There you go. There you go.
What do your sources
Jesus
mean when they say
Christ.
that these tall, lean, black, naked men mounted Muhammad and rode him all night long?
So
When the
why
men of
would he go
al-Zud
there?
approached the Diddy line, or the Cuck line, why did Ibn Masud sit down to protect the Jiggle twins, his wiggle bags, his rump rockets? And why did Muhammad return to Ibn Masud in pain, totally worn out from having his bounce house bounced on all night,
Why could it be?
pass out on his companion's lap? Let me know in the comments section. If you'd like to watch Raymond Ibrahim's full video, the link is in the description box.
Follow him
Be
too.
sure to check out his channel as well. As you can see, he's got a lot of good material.
All right. So that was David Wood and explaining us what happened with Mohammed and the men of Al-Zud. And we know that actually a lot of in the Muslim community, I don't know why, but it's disgusting. You see old men kissing boys in the mouth, and well, Muhammad used to do it, and they in the Quran they also talk about semen, and they're all like swimming in semen. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. That's why they're never gonna come out of their hellhole, and they're never gonna improve as a society. Look at this. That's true, Mom. I thought Ramadan was a fasting month, and the old fat bastard there, the wife beater there. about to explode. Anyway, I think I'm gonna. Oh no, this guy. Listen to this, dear United Kingdom. You need about 100 more like this guy, and you win. That's very true. Listen to this guy. This is. I love this video because the guy is in the middle of the street and he's just yelling truth, spitting out truth and facts against Muslims, and nobody tells him nothing. So that's good. If you want to do it, you just have to protect yourself and make sure to say every fact, to say every truth, so they cannot fight you back.
Muhammad was a pedophile.
Yep.
He married a 9-year-old. He had slaves. He started wars, conflicts. He is one of the worst examples for mankind. Yes, Muhammad is one of the worst examples for mankind. Yes,
Yep.
I said it. He is a
Yes,
pedophile.
it is, 100%.
He stands condemned, cursed by the judgment of God. Yes, he is. Jesus Christ
Amen.
did not have a wife. Jesus Christ did not start wars. He said, "Love your."
I don't agree with him in what he just said there. Look at
Jesus Christ
Jesus Christ
did not have
did
a
not
wife.
have a wife. Now, on the Gnostic books, you find out that actually Mary Magdalene was his wife, was the closest, and you could say that the most culture of his apostles. Mary Magdalene is still on debate, but me personally, I'm pretty sure, and I say that with confidence, that I'm pretty sure that Mary Magdalene was Jesus Christ's wife and his apostle, and his confidant, let's say. But that's just me, all right? That's just me. After reading Gnostic books and all this stuff.
Jesus Christ did not start wars. He
That's
said,
true.
"Love your enemy."
Exactly. He said, love your enemies. Jesus Christ says, love your enemy. Just remember, just like also in the Bible, you find that justice does not belong to us, does not belong to you and I. The justice belongs to God. But we have to fight back. We have to fight back. This we're not going to allow. In this war, we have God on our side.
Pray for those who persecute you. Bless those who revile you. Jesus did not give permission to beat women like Muhammad. Jesus
Amen.
did not have concubines like Muhammad. He is one of the worst
Yep.
examples for mankind.
Yes.
Jesus is the best example
For mankind. That's true.
Muhammad stands condemned, cursed under the judgment of the Almighty God. Yes. He had multiple wives, started wars, started conflicts, brought a demonic institution that leads many weary, helpless, lost souls to the lake of fire. Yes, that is what Muhammad does.
Yep. That's it. So, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you in the next video, and I hope this was informative. There is a lot still to investigate. There is a lot that you can check yourself, and I encourage you to study even the Quran. Again, what I'm doing right now is actually I'm reading the Bible, and I'm gonna get me a Quran. I want to read both. I want to know about every religion. I'm a bit of a theologist myself, but what I'm sure about is that Islam is not the religion of peace, is not the religion of love and inclusiveness, or whatever you want to call it. No, it's not. We have to fight back. This is a fight where God is in our side. We are on the right. We're protecting our way of life, and we welcome. We are a welcoming culture. We will welcome you. It doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you respect our way of life. And you, as an immigrant, have to adapt to our way of life, because nobody's asking you to come and emigrate to our countries. We don't want you here. We don't like you. All right, we don't like Muslims. We don't like you. I said it. We don't like Muslims. So if you are gonna emigrate, you better behave, or else you're gonna find consequences. Because right now, people, you are witnessing that we are fighting back in Europe, in North America, even in Latin America. So from the deepest corner of my heart, Jesus Christ is the way, Jesus Christ is the Lord, Jesus Christ is the example to men. And fuck you very much, Islam. Fuck you very much, Muslims. We are